Watch this. No way!
Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of the Cookie Jar Podcast. I'm Tom Mills and I'm joined by Sam Williams.
Hello.
Sir Bruce Fitzpatrick.
Hello.
And our newest member of the team, Carl Wing.
Hello.
Hi,
Good to
Carl.
be here.
So,
Thank you for having me.
finally got a full house and we've got a ram-packed agenda for today. Sam?
Yeah, interesting one today, guys. We're going to be talking about the Genesis Open, so the Genesis Invitational, rather. So we've currently got that on the screen, watching this as it comes in. Obviously, be remiss not to talk about Tiger. It's his week, it's his event, so we're going to throw some good Tiger stats at you, some stuff there that's blown my mind. And we're going to talk about coronavirus. So slightly strange topic, but we've obviously massive cancellations this week in terms of the tour and the European stuff out in the Far East. So we're going to chew through that one as well.
Brilliant. And the Genesis Open, it's currently, Rory's just teed off. What are we thinking?
Birdie up the first.
Guy looks class.
What have we got? We've got Rory,
Scott and Cooch.
Scott and Cooch.
I reckon DJ's going to come in.
Barn has started with an eagle, which
Flew
is
up the
loud.
field yesterday.
Varner's been nipping around all week at this,
I mean,
hasn't he,
look,
really? He looks...
We're watching Kuchar on the
HV3.
second, playing a 4 hybrid into a par 4.
And he's just fanned it. I mean,
this
it's
bloke should not
Way right.
be deserving of this win.
Have a seat.
Into the gallery.
wonder
Justin
if we'll
Thomas
give them some
territory.
money.
Yeah, well, it's a is the Genesis always at Riviera? It's known as being quite a quite demanding setup.
Was that
because it's
famous
on-
clip of Woods on the range when he was 16?
Yeah.
I think he made his amateur there as debut as an amateur. And
What are we thinking
From
about
there.
Woods' four-putting?
Doesn't bode well, does it?
happens to the best of us.
Twice in a couple of weeks.
They're not regular, though. I can't remember four-putting that often. So
Second time in a couple of weeks.
And we're all terrible, really.
yeah,
by
our
comparison.
budget. I mean, I'm at no point professing to be as good as Tiger, and I don't four-putt very often. So
Do you know what? Like the excuse he gave on Golf Channel? Poana greens.
So that is the only thing
Yeah.
with this time of year. When you're in February and when they're on that sort of like West Coast swing, every time you see a putt, Poana.
They want to come. They want to come play some bumpy winter
can't
golf up
be-
here.
Poana's one. I've also read another, I wouldn't say it's an excuse, but certainly an issue he's got, is Peter Costis was saying apparently his back isn't great in the cold weather.
and it's nippy out there.
I mean, it's not UK cold, but
It's for America. It's
it's
cold.
still wearing
Mate,
polos.
everybody's in t-shirts.
Anyone here played on Poana?
I wouldn't
Not
know.
that I'm aware of.
Tumbleweed blows through the podcast room.
If West Coast,
Not on the UK Isles.
I didn't know.
I've played Pebble. So if West Coast are all Poana,
Pebble is definitely Poana.
then yes.
I don't know if Riviera is Poana or if it's Kikuyu. Isn't that what
The
Elkington was
greens,
talking
the
about?
greens are Poana.
And then the
rough and the grass
fairways
is
are
Kikuyu.
Kikuyu.
It
I
ain't
remember
Bermuda.
Elkington talking about Kikuyu grass and how he felt he had an advantage on a lot of the American guys because it's quite spongy in a way.
So I take it that's quite big in Australia then.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
was saying a lot of the Aussie guys know how to attack the ball from quite a sort of shallow angle, whereas if you get a bit steep on it, on Kikuyu, it rides up the face and goes nowhere, apparently.
Well, Bruce has got a bit of Southern Hemisphere golf to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, I do indeed.
Can you tell
South
us where you're
Africa?
going?
Going to South Africa.
Are you?
for a-
Tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
Can we address him with Sir
for
Bruce,
5
please?
days.
Sir Bruce.
Cape Town?
So south, George.
Yeah,
George
okay,
kind of
yeah.
area down there just to try and get a bit of practice in, which I'm
So
very
no-
much looking forward to because the weather here is diabolical.
Well, it's
So, yeah.
Fresh off the back of Storm Dennis. It's not great.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Absolutely
I mean,
horrific weekend for anyone wanting to clean their sticks and get out there today. It was just not the shout.
Sam and I went up to our local golf club a couple of hours ago and tried to hit a few balls there, which was not.
Emphasis on tried hitting Bruce's butter knives and thinned the arse off about
Still
20 of them.
I mean, neither of us could really feel our hands, and we were sort of, straddling puddles of water on the practice tee, which wasn't really the shout. But when
How else are you going to improve, boys? You've got to work.
yeah, you do. You got to work in all conditions.
Exactly.
We
If you want to be able
talking,
to master Kikuyu, you've got to be able to
Master the Somme.
you got to be able to shallow out that angle of
we
attack.
talking 2 gloves, FootJoy all weather.
Oh mate, I'm not Tommy Gainey. I'm not
Tying 2
putting
gloves.
on 2 of those. Yeah. No,
So we
I
should
put
introduce Cal. He's just nipping in there with some high quality, pro golf knowledge there. Why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself for the benefit of our listeners, Cal?
Thank you. Right, my name's Cal. Play off 5. Also play at Blackwell Golf Club in Worcestershire with these 3 fine gentlemen. Yeah, I've been playing. Probably started taking it seriously when I was about 13. Got down to 5 pretty quickly. I was probably off 5 when I was about 15, 16.
Rumoured to be the foursomes partner in county golf with Mr. Pepperell, is that correct?
Not correct.
Oh.
But I played in quite a few of the same comps within the sort of
Really?
BB&O stuff around Oxfordshire. But no, I mean, certainly his brother Joe was more sort of my level, my age group, and then Eddie was a couple of years younger, off scratch when he was 12. And
Perhaps if you're listening, just drop us a message.
You ever
We're
want to
happy to have you on.
Bring him on the pod.
could be a friend of the pod very
Do you want to
soon.
chat about BB&O golf with Cal and reminisce about those
Halcyon
glory
days, rolling back the years with Cal Wing. It's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it?
Many club tours.
Good.
But yeah, no, very keen.
You play a bit of
Also-
links as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Get out on the shores.
Yeah, I play down in Saunton in North Devon as well, which is 2 fantastic championship courses there. Lucky enough to have the British boys there this year, which was some fine
Is that
talent
right?
on display. And yeah, other than that, very keen. I mean, outside of work, you play as much as you can.
Yep.
UK climate.
And you pour some hours into your
Right.
knowledge as well, don't you? It's a bit of an investment in your brain there on
the
golf.
golf historian of the group, we might say. Actually.
I would say so.
Yeah, a bit of golf history, a bit of golf architecture, We can dive into that over
Well, it's
the-
interesting now we've got the
over
four of
the
us,
year.
the 4 of us here for the first time, and we've never actually fully explained the genesis of tied in cookie jar golf.
Yeah. So the term itself, I guess, refers to a celebration which a good friend of mine at university picked up on or coined it, because there's a very famous shot of Tigers which is always, put to various different theme songs or on, Vines and Instagram videos and all sorts of him hitting this 4-iron at the President's Cup when Freddie Couples was the captain. I'm not sure what year that was exactly, but he hits this 4-iron and then just starts walking after it with his arms held out up in the air for quite a long time, and then the right hand just sort of...
And it was a sick club twirl, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was an
the,
excellent
the
club
shaft
twirl.
angle doesn't change. It just spins nicely,
Yeah.
just
It
slots
was
into the hand.
ever so gentle twist of the club in the left hand. The right hand just meandered up towards his face.
It's the march starts
Yeah.
just as the arms sort of lead forward. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
testify.
Talking 4 or 5 iron.
Yeah, 4-iron. Yeah, the President's Cup, which skips on to a few feet, and he's holding this right hand up forever as he's marching after.
But the wrist
down
sort of
fairway.
dips down, doesn't
And
it? It
then,
sort of cocks.
and then he gets a little bit of flexion in the right wrist, which just goes into the sort of proverbial
Cookie jar.
cookie
into
jar,
the cookie jar.
and then hence the term which my friend in St Andrews came up with, and I passed on to Sam, and here we are. A few months later,
Here we are.
with the podcast named after it.
Hitting mediocre pitching wedges and holding our hands in the air and slam dunking and pretending that we got something that we can offer.
And
to
almost
the
getting
cookie
kicked
jar.
out of Blackwell Golf Club for obnoxious celebrations.
I think that's acceptable.
So that was the genesis, and this is the genesis we're watching now then. So I guess kind of our new world number 1, McIlroy's out, last group. Pretty good history coming down the stretch when he's in with a sniff. Scott also looking pretty clinical. Varner still kicking around. Cooch is annoyingly kind of good, but doesn't have the best history, right, Cal? Coming down.
Someone has said to me that Cooch, well, it didn't say to me, it was on the commentator, was talking about Cooch's single plane swing and how that affects his distance.
It's ugly, but it's effective.
I don't even know what a single plane swing is.
Yeah, he works with a guy from Plain Truth Golf. That's like a school of golf or a school of technical sort of analysis and teaching. And yeah, so he has a very flat swing with very little left arm raise, which is supposedly going to lead to more consistency. But I don't
And that's
think
called
you
a single
get
plane swing.
single plane swing.
Different to stack and tilt.
Theory. Yes, similar principles in that you minimise the amount of that your arms raise, but I think there are a lot of very well regarded golf instructors out there who'd say that you need the arms to lift if you want to generate maximum club head speed.
But I want to throw out a debate that came up from the Genesis the other day. Mickelson obviously carries around a fairly decent crowd with him, and he was stood on the third tee and just wallops it right, miles right, so far right.
You said sprayed it right, didn't you?
I said he sprayed it right. It's so far right that no one in the world has seen it. The people that are aligned on the right of Mystics is right of them. Now, the rules of golf say, you've now got 3 minutes to find your ball. And if that was you, me, anybody else, all of our listeners, that ball is gone. There is no way anybody's finding it. They had 100 people looking for this ball for 3 minutes.
So you basically, what you're saying there is you're taking at best case, a 4-ball, which gives you 12 minutes cumulative time looking for a golf ball, and you've got now kind of...
They've got 300
5
minutes.
hours of golf
300
ball
minutes
searching.
of
No, you
searching
have.
for golf balls.
Do the math. You've got 5 hours of looking for a ball versus 12 minutes. I mean, it's insane. Like, it's no wonder some of these guys don't lose balls.
And I've got this hypothesis, and I'm
So did they find it?
You
full of
fancy yourself
figures, they
round
find it.
Blackwell against Mickelson?
No, I've got
I
this
would.
shitty hypothesis that I'd like your canvas opinions on. I think at the pro level, the only, unless the ball is clear and obvious to a spectator, the only people that should be able to search for it are the players and their caddies.
Difficult, because how
So hard to
how are
enforce.
you going to get all the patrons and all the fans to just right? Excuse me, stand still. We're coming through.
Would you have to give out
Nobody move.
blindfolds? Do you sort of start putting black tape over their
Nobody
eyes?
move. No one tell the pro where the ball's gone.
Well, no. If it's clear and obvious, then
And
that's
it's,
fine.
It's basically find the ball.
Well,
Literally,
look at it this way:
needle in a haystack.
if you're in Tiger Woods' group and you've hit that shot, you're 10 times more likely to find the ball than if you're nodding it round in the first tee group on a Saturday with
Yeah.
no spectators.
Yeah. It's just
I think it's a fair point. I think it's hard to know how you
It's hard to
police
police.
against it. I mean, if
Yeah.
if you're playing in a mid event, so that's a huge event, right? It's a final day, so we've got people cut out. You're gonna have a certain number of people looking. If you're playing on a small level event and you've only got sort of half a dozen people following you, I think you're at a disadvantage. If you put the ball in the same spot, you could have no more than say 15, 20 minutes worth of people looking for balls added up, versus perhaps 3, 4, 5 hours. And I think that's a massive difference for these guys. So. But the question is, how do you police it?
yeah, logistically it's not really
Well, I know it's silly. Like, I'm
Yeah.
being ridiculous when I say it, but it isn't fair.
added to which though the issue with policing it is that it's running in a very different direction to a lot of the concerns out there, which is pace of play, making sure the game speeds up a bit.
Yeah, but
making it
It's
more
not going to
appealing.
speed up the game.
And it's
Real-
not
well,
gonna- it's not
realistically,
gonna do
they've still
that,
only got
is it?
3 minutes total. If it's not found 3 minutes, he's back on the tee, or it's provisional.
Yeah, but then it's 3 minutes you've got to spend looking for it when you get down there, rather than it already being found, you being able to just walk straight to it.
Interestingly, the best player at our own club, if he's hit his ball into the trees, he will hang back until you have made it to him to start looking for his ball, because he's like, that's my.
But it
my
makes
3 minutes
sense,
is
because
starting
when I've put it in the
It's well thought out.
Well, no, but my point now is if you're a pro, there's already 100 people looking for your ball before you got there, before the 3 minutes have started.
so I can think
you've
back to an
almost got
event.
to say, patrons, stand where you are, don't do anything, wait till I get to you, then we can all start looking
So here's a
together.
bit of a knowledge bomb for you. Varner last year, Bethpage US Open. I think he was in contention on the last day.
He was in the final group with Kepka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he shot like 6-7 over.
Correct.
Exploded.
And when it started going wrong, he was just short left of a trap on somewhere about 7 or 8 or something. Nasty sort of hook. You remember that thick, wiry grass? Tugged it dead left, straight into the trees. Like, if you walked in there was half a chance you were going to find, like, Harrison Ford. Honest to God. It was like an episode out of Indiana Jones. You were never going to see this thing
remember-
again.
I do remember
And he
that,
went darting ahead looking for the ball. And then the commentators was rapidly on the ball going, yeah, he's made exactly the wrong call there. He should have steadied his ship,
Yeah.
put a provision down, wait for everyone to catch up, and then go, right, now we're going to start looking for my golf ball. He never found the ball, I don't think. And, kind of those are the things that cost you.
That is a great point, actually. And that's probably what Tiger, to his credit, has done exceptionally well
Yeah.
over the years.
Strategy.
Do you think Harold Varner has gotten over the fact that everybody just only refers to him as being the nicest man in golf? That's pretty much the
I don't think
only
you ever get
adjective
over
about
that, do you?
Varner.
I mean, no one's ever said it about me, so I've never had an issue of getting over that sort of comment.
It'd be nice to be known for something else.
True.
Any wins for
He's
Varner?
really nice.
Just a really
he's
nice
really
guy.
nice guy.
Here's one. Right, I'm plucking this one out if this is right. So he's got one win, and I'm pretty sure he won something like the Australian PGA. in
Wow.
2018. Can we see if we can confirm that?
Real time stat check on this one.
He's just a top 5, top 10 machine. Bit like Finau, actually.
Yeah, Finau's
Australian
turned into
PGA,
the ultimate
obviously it's not
gasser.
a US
He's
PGA
become
Tour
our
event.
gasser. We've talked about him a lot the last couple of weeks.
Who? Finau.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So we're just fact checking this. And you think he won in the Australian?
I'm pretty sure. Let's go on wins.
Didn't he beat? Is it Dot?
Career wins, Australian PGA,
2016.
2016.
That's the thing I said 18, but 1 point, 1 mark.
I mean, that's 15 love to Cal.
Bonus points for margin of victory.
So just bring us back on topic to the Genesis. So interestingly, just in Morikawa, just not quite get up and down. He's now 8 under. He's chasing the pack. He's not far off. He's 53rd currently in the OWGR. So he's 53rd in the world rankings. This is going to be a big weekend for him. This is probably going to give him... In fact, he's probably already got exemptions to the majors.
because of his win.
I'm just
2
thinking.
weeks ago.
But it's going to move him up the tables. This guy's coming in like fast. I quite fancy this guy possibly
Just full
for a
name?
PGA this year. Colin Morikawa.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just
Turned
came
pro
out
last year.
That's right. Came out of
Yeah.
Oklahoma with
Hovland.
Hovland
It's really
and
quite
Wolf.
similar, actually.
Matthew
Yeah.
Wolff,
Him and
yeah.
Hovland.
Incredible when you think those
Very
three guys
similar.
in the side.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
I bet it was
Well,
tough to
they
get in
are
the
now.
side with
I
them
mean,
kicking around.
They are the new. It's hard to say he's
They're
the
the
new
new
Thomas,
Spieth and
but
Thomas,
he's the new
yeah.
Spieth, Thomas, Daniel Berger, that sort of
Patrick Rogers kind
Patrick
of crew.
Rogers. Few of those guys.
What a
have
great swing
sort
Patrick
of
Rogers has got, and yet he's just not really.
hasn't clicked. Has it?
Surely he's going to break through at some point because he's got, he's such a hell of a player and had such a great college record. But yeah,
Well, I mean, we're going to close this out on Genesis soon, but I've been looking. McIlroy just firing a little flick with a wedge in here. That's gone to about, what we say, 7-8 feet once that finishes.
Below the hole.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an uphill putt there, 11 under. I'm rooting for this guy to bring it home today.
Oh, everybody wants McIlroy to win.
So I think a nice one for McIlroy. Obviously, beginning of the week, he has sort of found himself number one spot. And a lot of people in the news are just like, just because he hasn't won an event to get there, or he's almost done it by sitting at home for the weekend.
To be fair, he won 3 last year, didn't he?
But he won 3, but yeah.
But he's
sort
had a
of
quiet start to the year. He
Quiet
didn't
start.
play Arizona, didn't play Pebble.
random, but what a way to sort of silence the critics this week. Just come back straight
straight
back
out.
and win and just cement that number one.
top 10, top 5 at Torrey Pines, I think.
I would visualise it by dropping the mic on the floor if it wouldn't piss Tom off.
Don't do it.
If it wouldn't hinder future recordings.
Sam has played himself off the podcast by throwing a mic.
Yeah, well, it is. I guess the one thing we haven't quite touched on, but maybe it's sort of self-evident with the Genesis, is that it is the strongest field that's been assembled this year.
Yeah, nine of the
by quite a
top
margin.
10.
Yeah, and then of the top 25, there's a very, very high percentage.
Who's
there
missing?
as well.
Who's the one that's not there?
Fleetwood? Is he top 10?
I think he is top 10, yeah. No, he is top 10.
Could be him.
Yeah, well, he's not there, is he? So
Oh no, he's 11.
He loves
Sorry.
doing this to test our knowledge, doesn't he?
was he 11th?
It's Cantlay, isn't? I don't think Cantlay's playing, or is it Webb?
No, I think
Xander?
because Webb won the other week, so I think he's
Webb's
taking
not.
a week off.
Yeah, Webb is taking a week off.
So, it was
So it's
gonna be
Webb.
Yeah.
Is Webb
Webb's-
in the top 10?
Yeah, Webb's 7.
Yeah, Webb's flying.
Mate, Webb's insane. He's the only guy in the top 10 who hits it under 300 yards average driving distance.
Which year did
Stat alert.
Which year did he win the US Open?
Oh,
Come on, Bruce.
Does Webb win the US
12.
Open?
No,
Which year?
which
2012.
year?
Which year? 2012 at Olympic Club.
did I get it? 12.
2012, yeah, Olympic Club. Lee Westwood hit it up one of the
Fucking
cycle
ball striker,
strings.
Sam.
Does anyone
He's got it.
remember the presentation? When
No.
he sort of got handed over the medal and the trophy.
He
and-
dropped it.
No, some you could say patron, but a patron sort of burst into the ceremony, the presentation, with a sort of Union Jack peacock hat on, and started making peacock noises.
Was it
behind
Bolton?
the exactly.
I'm the
Could
postman.
have
I'm
been
the postman.
Bolton. Could have been Bolton. It was the strangest thing, but probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, I'm glad I got that one right, Tom. 2012 Olympic
2012
Club.
Olympic Club.
Oh, Adam Scott has just poured one.
Pouring
in.
one in, 12 under. Now, this is back to what we were talking about last week.
Two under through
McIlroy's
three.
now got a little sort of 7 or 8 footer uphill. If he's playing the man, that feels like a tougher putt, right?
Yeah, it feels like lost hole. But
Yeah.
he should just be playing his own game.
He feels like he's
I mean, it's
now
unbelievable,
trying to stay in
isn't
it.
We're now we're trying to, sort of guess what's going through McIlroy's mind.
McIlroy's
as he's
flapping.
lining it. What Rory really needs to be doing is just, staying calm, playing his own game.
I think the only hindrance for me watching Rory is he feels like a streaky putter to watch. So
Well, it's
he
just
feels like he can either have the putters red hot or it's in the fridge, and there's no in between. And that might be like a way out of left field call, but he does feel like a
I'm
streaky
agreeing.
putter.
I know what you mean.
But he's with-
close.
When it's on, it's on. When it's cold,
And this is exactly
it's
the
not
putt that you can
defrosted.
watch him miss all day, or hole all day. Shot 61 in the Canadian Open and won that. Putter was on fire. Pebble in the...
Well, he's back with Faxon now, isn't he?
one of those.
Yeah. So
Bit on the
anyway,
edge.
Missed it.
but yeah, so Tiger's big week, hosting the event. Cool as hell this place
To
looks.
be fair, he was that round one on fire.
Tiger.
Yeah, I think the front nine.
So his front nine, he's
front
4 under.
nine, he was on fire, and then it just sort of cooled
Yeah.
down.
Didn't he make a double, or was that his second round? He made a double with a wedge in hand.
Yeah, could have been.
Hit one like
Yeah, it was bang
330
line,
right
round
down the
one.
gut,
Yeah.
and then
Doubled 7, I think, didn't he, or something like that.
yeah, just a couple of
He picks his partners, right, on this? So I think he gets to pick his partners in his event, right? So
If he's organised.
because he
yeah.
loves JT. JT is like his boy, isn't he? So he picks him. He plays with him at the President's Cup. He's in his group, and he's had Stricker with him as well. First 2 days.
Yeah, because everyone thought he was going to be playing with Rory, but
Yeah.
obviously not.
I don't think he likes playing with people who hit the ball a long way
JT
past him off the
launches it.
tee. Yeah, but he's not in McIlroy's league of distance, I don't think.
But I mean, you kind of want to be at that level where you can rock up to the first event of the year that's holding a field of this strength, and then turn up and go, "Okay, Tiger, you just pick your pairings now for your first 2 days, please."
But you say that he doesn't like playing with people who hit it longer than him, but then you had the Tour Champs last, or the year before last, when Tiger won, and it was Tiger won at Eastlake, and McIlroy just went out there and was like, "I'm going to smash the ball," and he just completely undid himself, and Tiger was just hitting like fairways, greens, fairways, greens.
I
Squeeze
don't
your
think
face.
that's something that probably phases him, is it?
No,
Well,
like
hitting it past
McIlroy.
people. Sorry, people hitting it past him, you think?
Yeah, I think if he'll have one eye, definitely one eye at least.
Tiger's consciously hitting the ball less distance. He's consciously playing more conservative golf off the tee.
I think 2 or 3
Even in
years
his
ago.
great years, Tiger's driving was always the bit that could. He was never straight every single hole, was he? He was a good driver. He hit it a long way, but now he just knows how good his iron game is. He's happy being 30 yards back from the other guys.
Well, I think he just knows that, he's not the power. He doesn't have the power game that he once had. I mean, he's still excellent, but
3 years ago when he first came back properly, and he was seeing who all the young bucks were on tour, and he probably thought
It was
probably
all-
wound him up for the first month or two. Now I think he's won.
It was all that chat.
He's won the Tour Championship. He's won the Masters.
Spieth and Thomas were giving it the, it would have been lovely to have Tiger around, I think this prime, and see if I could pit myself against him. And then he turned up
Well, he's
and played
returned,
golf,
and
and they were all like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Spieth's trying to get back to where he was. Thomas is playing pretty well.
But it's obviously the genesis is where Tiger had that famous 16-year-old, and he was getting marched up the fairway, and where he sort of burst onto the scene. And we are dedicating a bit of the show to some of Tiger's best events and best things he's done, and most
Well, it
outrageous
got us
statistics.
Googling, didn't it? You forget how good the guy was.
Well, let me just jump in.
kind
From
of
a
like, so we want to
16-year-old
give some stats here. Go on, Tom.
So from a 16-year-old, in his first 100 starts on tour, Tiger won 28 times.
28%.
28% winning in his first 100
From
DJ
it,
starts.
and that's from a standing start of his first event on tour.
Rory, DJ, Spieth, Fowler and Day combined in their first 100 won 27. Which is one less.
No.
that's actually across 500, isn't it?
Yeah, 500 rounds, but their first 100 each.
Yeah.
Rory, DJ, Spieth, Fowler and Day combined 27 wins.
That is fucking unreal. When you think how good those guys are,
That's some stat, isn't it?
that is insane.
Yeah, that's one of the best.
But do you think?
Look at that one again. Yes, that's just absurd.
That is absolutely ludicrous.
But do you think it's because the standard of golf now is more competitive than it was?
I don't know. Well, here's one for you. Right, here's one for you. Woods' largest winning victory margin, 2000 US Open Pebble Beach, 15 shots,
He was
clear of Ernie Els in second.
invincible round Pebble.
Wasn't Ernie Els over par on that day?
Yeah. He was 3 over par, I think.
And
He was totally invincible,
Time
wasn't
Tiger
it?
finished 12 under, yeah.
And everyone would always jump
was
to
really-
was 97 Masters, wasn't it? It was like his dicked on the whole of the field.
Yeah.
Pebble was just a complete different level.
Well, my favourite statistic about Tiger Woods, which doesn't really exist any longer, but I think it's still very impressive because, well, I'll just tell you it and you tell me if you think it's impressive. So he turned pro in 1996, and his first missed cut on the PGA Tour happened at the 1997 Bell Canadian Open, which was his 26th tournament of his PGA Tour career. He didn't miss a cut for another 8 years. And prior to 2009, so prior to his car accident, he'd only missed 5 cuts in his entire career. So he'd won 14 majors and missed 5 cuts.
And what percentage
Up
of
to
players are coming out in the
2009.
cut? It's not a. I've never. You guys are going to look at me like I'm talking nonsense here. Is it? It's not 50% of the field, is it?
No, it's a set number, isn't it?
More
It's
or
like
less,
it's
but
like
it more or less
70
falls
entires.
around 50%.
It's about the midpoint, right?
Yeah.
So he's finished after 2 days, and anything can happen in 2 days golf. You've only got to get on the wrong side of the draw for 1 day. So rain comes in the afternoon, you are off tournament.
Toast.
He's missed 5 cuts.
Yeah.
8 years.
Which
In
which
his
think-
first,
sorry, he didn't miss a
in his,
cut
in his
for 8
first
years.
13 years of professional golf,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the cuts he missed was in 2006 at Winged Foot. So the only cuts in majors I think he missed as a pro were 2006 US Open Winged Foot. His father had just died maybe a week or two before, and then he missed the 2009 cut at the British Open. Sorry, the Open, as it should be called. And prior to that, yeah, he'd only missed, those are the only 2 major cuts he missed, and then he missed the 1997 Bell Canadian Open, which I just mentioned, the 2005 EDS Byron Nelson, the 2005 Funai Classic, and that was it.
It's just obscene.
Well,
Absolutely obscene.
I think, you know, when he did have the back surgery and he came back early. Remember he came back and he was like chili dipping all his chips.
Oh, yeah, he was
and,
shooting like 80.
and he was embarrassing. You know, like he must have been embarrassed. And he was a laughing stock to the world of
There would
golf.
have been some nerves there, for sure.
But he wasn't ready, was it? He just came back early.
Yeah, but you got to admire that mental fortitude to say, you know what, I don't care that I've shot 82. Like I'm going to go and give it I'm going to give it another crack next week, and then shoot 80 at Chambers Bay, and then keep trying to fight through pain and just say, I'm going to get back to where I was.
And I think I worry that in years to come, people will look back and go, well, it was different when Tiger did it. And I think the landscape of the quality is slightly different now, but I don't think it's any reason for why Tiger did the stuff he did and the stats we're talking about there. You know, when you look at the level he was playing at, the difference versus the rest of the field and him, I worry people are going to look back and go, well, it was different then. It was just there was no competition.
Well, what's interesting, I suppose, is that courses through the 2000s went through this Tiger proofing, you know, and it's now a case that the golfers that are out there are hitting it further than Tiger and more accurate than Tiger off the tee, but he's still scoring.
He's still up there to prove the point.
Like it wasn't like his obscene length. I mean, he was long, but it wasn't his obscene length that he was dismantling courses. It's because he's just sick.
Well, he was about sort of 72% driving accuracy in his prime, which none of the guys at
Which,
the
yeah.
moment, even Rory.
Even
probably the best.
65% is as good as it gets on
Yeah,
tour now.
Rory's like the best driver of the ball, and he's probably 65%. You could probably pull that up for the last few seasons, but he was exceptional compared to everyone else around him. And I know what you mean, Sam. Like there is a worry that people will just say, "Oh, it was different." You know, the competition wasn't as fierce, but you can only be judged based on the people around you and like how you fared in your era. It's the same argument that needs to be made when people talk about Jack Nicklaus and Palmer and Player and Watson and how good they all were. You can only be judged, you know, based on the field against which you're competing.
I mean, I've got a couple because we did a bit of Googling and I kind of pulled one out. So, I mean, this talks to his major record, right? So from 1997 through to 2008, Tiger in all major championships was 126 under par cumulatively. Okay? During that time, there were 138 other golfers in that span with at least 40 rounds of majors. Clearly, not everyone played in the number he did. Of that group, second place to his 126 under par was Joe Ogilvy at 63 over par.
Joe Ogilvy.
Tiger is more than 200 shots ahead over that same period of his contemporaries who played in the similar number of rounds, people like Phil and Ernie.
I mean, fair play to Joe Ogilvy for going second to Tiger.
I think clearly the number of majors he
Joe's played
played.
on the PGA Tour probably since, like, I'm going to throw it out there, 2003.
Yeah, I think he probably had an early fast start on
and he didn't. It was probably a good journeyman, but there's no.
He didn't win much.
It's not a standout career, and it's not a. You say Joe Ogilvy to most people, and they're sort of like,
Do you mean Jeff?
Yeah, exactly.
do you mean Joe or Jeff?
Joe
Yeah,
Ogilvy.
Joe, exactly. Do you mean Jeff?
Journeyman. Cal wants him on the pod.
Well,
Challenge
get him on.
accepted.
Joe Ogilvy won a comp in 2007.
But I think we wanted to do that. We wanted to kind of talk about some of these things that we've seen
was
over
it?
time and think,
How
You
old
know
is he
what?
now? He's 45. He won the US Bank Championship in Milwaukee. Doesn't sound like one of the mainstays.
You're saying out of that, he's second to Tiger.
so I will repeat, 97 through 2008, Tiger was 126 under par in those majors. There were 138 golfers in that span with at least 40 rounds in majors. So you haven't got to played as many. Of that group, the second place was Joe Ogilvy at 63 over par. If you went to golfers who played in a similar number of events, people like Phil and Ernie,
Here we go.
you would be 200 shots plus.
Here we go.
clearing.
Results of major championships. Joe Ogilvy. Right, okay. So from 2000 to 2009, he's probably paid him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It says cut more than anything
about 11
else.
or 12. Yeah, he's missed 3
It's
cuts.
40 rounds of major golf, though. So if you're carrying
6
cuts,
cuts.
you're carrying bad rounds, aren't
He's
you?
played in very few. And I mean, the stats slightly distorted, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's second. The point is not how good is Joe
no,
Ogilvy
no.
in the majors. The point, Cal,
Let's not get
is
lost
how
on
good
Joe
is
Ogilvy.
Tiger. I think you're going down a rabbit warren here on Joe. Like I'm painting him like he should have won 11 majors.
He's just standing out like a god right now.
Yeah, I mean, Joe is at no point the benefit of that story is not to say Joe's the second best golfer on the planet. Massive shout out to Joe. We'd love to have you on. But
he's
you know,
just become David.
and I'll wrap it up with everyone's favourite. 2003 through to 2005, Tiger had 1,543 putts from 3 feet and in. He missed 3.
Wow.
That is
Yeah,
clutch
he's,
play.
What? How many? 1,000.
1,543. He missed 3 of them.
I bet you if you offered him some of those stats today, he would bite your hand off.
I mean, I think he missed 3 of them on that.
He's missed
on
about
the
4
front
today.
9, didn't he? So, but yeah, very interesting. We wanted to talk a little bit as well about the coronavirus. So, I mean, unless you've been under a rock for the last 4 weeks, you will obviously know about the devastating impacts of coronavirus, the health scares in the UK. It's kicking off in a big way. I'm getting texts from my local GP asking me if I've just got back from Wuhan. I'm like, obviously, if I've come back from Wuhan, I think this would have been news already. It's
And I
not
still
good.
go and
Like,
shell
I
4 hours
don't
up
get
at
it. So, like, so initially, like,
What's
mortality.
interesting is I've got a friend who lives in China, and you're like, "What's going on over there? Is everything fine?" And a message came back like as if it come from Chinese state media. Oh, it's all overhyped. It's nothing, not a problem at all. It's all safe over here.
I'm just out on the lawn shelling 4 irons. Yeah.
But things
What a
like
great
SARS and shit like that are killing loads more people. Like the common flu sees off hundreds of people every year. So
15,000 a year. in the
clearly,
UK.
there's something I don't know. This feels like it's
15,000.
Yeah, yeah, in the
Wow.
UK.
yeah,
The flu.
it's silly. And we are properly sweating over 100 people out in, kind of Wuhan and a couple of people who've picked up, coronavirus. The mortality rate's pretty low. Nevertheless, the European Tour, in its infinite wisdom and wrapped up, I suggest, partly in the media hype, have cancelled a shitload of tournaments. So, what have we had cancelled?
Malaysian Open,
Okay,
China Open.
Volvo's a big one in China, right? That's
Yeah.
a big ticket European event.
That's, I think it's still
Flagship
big.
event for
Prize
them.
fund's probably not as big as it once was, but it's still it's still a pretty decent tournament.
And Hong Kong Open?
Oh no, I think that was played in.
No.
I want to say
Hong Kong's cancelled.
No, I think they replayed it. I'm gonna say they replayed it. So I think it was cancelled in November. I'm pretty sure they went back to it in January. But there was another tournament on at the time, so I think Wade Ormsby might have defended it. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think.
I trust everything Cal says.
Okay, well, Mikhail has better golfing knowledge, but nonetheless, these are quite big flagship
Wade
events.
Ormsby was defending champ, and I think he defended it.
So my point here is not, top level European Tour golfers that aren't going to be out and competing for these things. But then what's the ramification then for other golfers? So people in the feeder tours like the Challenge Tour, people in Asia Tour, people who are probably scrambling to get their cards. That's going to have a massive impact, right?
Oh, it completely messes up your schedule. And
So what
I mean,
you
there's some
what are you
events there
suggesting
where
that people are knocking down to the Euro Pro Tour just to get some money in, and then the Euro boys can't play? And
I mean, no, like this week, for example, they're the Challenge Tours out in South Africa.
Bezuidenhout and Richard Stern.
Yeah, which I think Bezuidenhout won this afternoon against George Coetzee, he's a steady European Tour player, but that will naturally attract all the top South African players anyway. But more to the point, I think a lot of the sort of latest flock of players come through on the European Tour have had to go back to play on the Challenge Tour because, well, the European schedule's a bit up and down. They're all over the place. There's not much in the next month or two.
And things like your Volvo Open China, they're going to be quite big prize fund events. If you can't quite make it on some of these, PGA, and sometimes there's bigger events on the European Tour than PGA or, comparably similar to the prize money. So those the golfers can only go certain places. Then I think that has, my point is, I think it has a trickle down effect then to the other people that would be Challenge Tour, people that are pitching up to try and move up in playing bigger events. All of a sudden, points, ability to retain cards is massively infected for them.
If you're on the Challenge Tour and you're working your way up to get to the European Tour, and then all of a sudden a few, very accomplished European Tour pros drop down to play in a Challenge Tour event to stay sharp or to, earn some more cash, then that would absolutely.
Which is what's happened this week.
This weekend.
Of course, it's like a 1, 2, 3 top European Tour players. I think Bezuidenhout's flying straight out to Mexico for the WGC next week.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. You're going to turn up on the range. You're like, holy fuck. There goes this week. I've got, one of the best golfers on the planet next to me now.
And it is so hard to get a card on the European Tour and keep a card. I mean, the Challenge Tour as well. It's like, you could be winning an event around about now, and because it's so heavily weighted with the race to Oman much later in the season,
Bezuidenhout's 60 in the world right now. He's ahead of Eddie Pepperell. He's ahead of Brendan Todd. He's 2 spots behind Keegan Bradley, and he's 5 spots behind Mickelson. Yeah. This guy's now knocking around. Yeah, he's knocking around in a Challenge Tour event.
Even though it's a Challenge Tour win, come tomorrow when the world rankings get refreshed, he might find himself on the 50 mark.
Yeah, but it can be a bit skewed though, because this is a South African event, and the South Africans do like to represent South African golf, and they tend to go back and play. So perhaps these guys would have played anyway, depending on what's going on.
But no, for those European Tour rookies who have gone over to play on at stay tournament fresh and what have you, then they're doing that just to stay match fit. But of course, all that money they're earning on the Challenge Tour is going to have no impact on the race to Dubai or anything like that. Which
does not go towards the race to Dubai.
Let's have a look at the schedule. I think the next European Tour event is. Well,
they do the big European, the big Asia swing, weren't it? Through
the next WGC
China.
is the WGC Mexico.
I think they've got Kenya.
It's Oman. It's the Oman Open.
Oman, then Kenya, is it?
It's Oman, then the Qatar,
then Kenya,
then Kenya.
Which Kenya
Pepperell won in Qatar, didn't they?
It is, yeah.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure when Europe became so all-encompassing.
I mean, that Kenya event, that was on the Challenge Tour a few years ago.
It's a strange one.
Qatar, Kenya.
I mean, and the thing is, you look at these...
the PGA Tour's not great.
Bring your sun cream, guys.
You look at the race to Dubai points. So for WGC, for Mexico next week, 9,000 race to Dubai points available, which if you keep scrolling down again. And then it's something like 1,200 available in Kenya. And it's events like those guys, that's all they can get into.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've literally got to win.
You
to
are
keep their
kneecapped.
card.
Exactly. You're completely kneecapped at that point, aren't you, really?
I think last year was something like 300,000 euros to keep your card at something like.
So there's a correlation with the race to Dubai and the prize money, and obviously with the cards,
spot 115 was on it, and that was about 300 grand. And you've got to win to make 300 grand because there's just not enough money in.
Or you've just got to be a top 5, top 10 machine.
Big
event.
Consistent as Joe Ogilvy and some of the greats out there.
Well, it's so heavyweight for Rolex series as well, isn't it?
And Rolex series.
You've got to be the Joe Ogilvy of Rolex series events, basically.
And don't forget, exactly, the Rolex series events, that's littered with top talent, isn't it?
And that just distorts it even more because those rookies, they can't get into the Rolex series events. And then you've got the points and the money available in there.
Yeah, and you've got your Saudi events where you've got people like DJ turning up, Rose, these people are taking massive appearance fees to rock up to these events. I don't know. I kind of, we're out there with one of our listeners. Anyone listening who's playing on the Challenge Tour, give us a shout. We'd love to hear about it.
But I remember reading a stat a little while ago, and I'm happy to be corrected. But there was something like on tour, the difference between keeping your tour card and not boiled down to about 0.1 of a stroke over a round.
We're
Over a year.
talking like €20.
I thought it'd be less than that. Yeah.
It's just like
So it's your one missed putt at some point.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it
In that
becomes
season.
frightening.
The margins and the
Yeah.
average scoring with these players is so small. It's not even 1 decimal point. It's sometimes down to the second, right?
It's like you three whacked a putt from 20 feet back in April.
And the top
At
half
some
of
event.
Challenge Tour is on quite good money. The bottom half, you're scrapping around quite a bit, right? It's not easy necessarily. It doesn't wash its face.
so. Someone explain this to me. Challenge Tour, I mean, it's the same as pros. I imagine you just completely fund yourself. You're gonna, and if you don't make the cut, you don't get
You
paid.
can get sponsored, obviously. I mean, there are a lot of very good Challenge Tour pros will get will have significant sponsors. But yeah, I mean, I imagine the entrance fees and the sort of schedule of travelling and
Anyone have an
accommodation.
idea what an entrance fee is for a Challenge Tour event?
Not sure.
So I'm assuming once you've got your card, and it would be the same going for European Tour events, you're not paying entrance fees.
But the killer issue is you're trying to get into the Challenge Tour, aren't you?
But it's
Because
the
that's
cost
where
of
that's your
getting
ticket to
there.
play a little bit
Cost
more.
of getting there and maintaining it.
Yeah.
Is,
Or like your flights. I mean, that's the big one, isn't it? It's like,
Flights,
when do you book your
accommodation,
return flight for? Do you
gotta
back
pay your
yourself?
caddy.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
back yourself to sort of stay there until Sunday night, Monday morning or whatever? But then if you miss the cut, you're then paying like 2 more nights in a hotel where you don't really need to be there. It's
Oh,
just...
yeah. I mean, you hear some stories of guys like if I miss this cut, I'm not going to be able to pay my hotel.
Yeah,
hotel
the dream's
room bill.
done, yeah.
The credit
I
card's maxed
I
out.
remember a couple of years back at the Riviera, actually, at the 6th, which is the donut green with a bunker in the middle. There's a massive house at the back of the 6th. And a couple of years back, Justin Rose was going over there, and someone said, like, "Oh, that's my house. You can stay there." And like for these boys, like they do not need things for free. The one thing they have to burn is cash. And he's like, someone's going, "Oh, just stay in my house, man. You just come stay here."
There must be so many golfers worldwide that would put up Challenge Tour players for free.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've ever got an event...
It's like an Airbnb for ball
around
strikers.
South Birmingham, we'd all definitely host someone, wouldn't we?
I think those sort of
Belfries.
stadium courses, those resorts that do have a hotel on site, I think to be fair, most will
Comp 'em.
try and stick them up for free.
So next week's looking pretty interesting. You got the WGC in Mexico. I quite liked that event last year.
Yeah,
This is the one that's
it's at
played on
altitude, isn't
high
it?
altitude,
Yeah.
so ball goes crazy distance.
Yeah.
But it's proper tight, it's small, sharp
Tree-lined.
greens again. There's a really nice, I think the last few weeks have been quite good actually, because they're all quite tight courses. They're quite enjoyable to watch. I can't remember who won last year, but I remember it being a pretty
Was it
good.
Justin
DJ?
Thomas the
DJ,
year
who was
before?
DJ?
No, 2 years ago.
That was the one where they were like driving the first,
Yeah.
which was like 390.
Yeah.
They were just setting it over the trees on the right, weren't they? Just being like,
Again, though, I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
this has been quite a Tiger themed podcast, hasn't it? And, you know, although DJ won it, the shot or the moment that people remember,
Oh, the bunker shot.
the event.
That was the
from
bunker
last year
shot.
Is Tiger's
Do you remember the
bunker
helicopter?
shot. Yeah, the helicopter finish,
It
oh,
was like
Yeah.
a 9-iron from about
With a
155. He's cut it circa 60 yards.
Not quite yet, but he's cut
It's
it a lot.
insane.
And he's not playing this year.
Is he not?
No, he's not committed.
Just wants to rest.
He's just resting up.
He's just thinking majors this
I'm
year.
guessing he's got a big, it's going to be pretty tough on his back if he plays the Florida swing, which is Bay Hill, the Players, and
And you're straight into more or
There's
less the
one more.
Masters, aren't you?
one more. in
Honda
Florida. Is it the
Classic.
Honda? Which is
Yeah,
also
that's the
won
bear
out?
trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Honda.
Yeah, so there you go. Those are 3 places he's done very, very well at. And
that's not.
Yeah.
That's coming. That's got to be coming up, hasn't it? The Honda Classic's always in February.
Florida
yeah,
string
so
straight,
that's
straight after
W-
Mexico.
yeah, which is why
Is it?
we're.
Do they play another
Tiger
Noddy event in
isn't
Mexico
doing
as well? Do they play another one after that, or
No,
no?
think so.
Straight up to Florida.
Straight up, yeah.
No fucking around. Cool. Well, we're definitely going to be here for that one. Okay, so it's been a wrap. It's been fun. Have fun out there, guys. Look forward to Storm Dennis blowing over. Make sure you get out there, shine the sticks, and go low.
Should we end it with one more? Should we say, right, one pick from all of you who's winning tonight?
Ooh.
I would like Rory to win, but I think Scotty's going to get it done, actually. I think Adam's going to just find some form with the putter.
Heart overhead for me, McIlroy.
McIlroy.
Got to be Rory, I think.
That's 3-1.
And just,
Maybe HV3, we don't know.
just before you go, guys, you can get in touch with us at Cookie Jar Golf on Instagram and Twitter, and use the hashtag Cookie Jar Golf. Get in touch, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Thank you.
Watch this.